Okay. Jeez Louise. Embarrassing. You know? This is where I'm at, people. I'm sure a lot of people are this way. I just went to the supermarket and, put a bunch of stuff in my cart. And, I go to the fancy supermarket, Sprouts, over by my... Because they have food, the kind of foods I want to eat, They have, like, raw milk, and they have organic. They have deodorant that doesn't have fucking aluminum and all this crazy shit in it. They have boron that you can fix your, whatever. It's healthy, but not cheap food. And, I went whole hog, and, of course, the woman bagging my groceries was super nice. We got into a big, fun conversation about UFOs and cyborgs and humans and AI and robots, which is always fun. But then I ran my card and it was insufficient funds, and then I got all, sweaty and weird. Because I gotta move some shit around. This is the dance. She was so nice about it too. She was like, well, hold on to your groceries and you come back. And I'm thinking, well, I'm not sure. The banks will be that immediate, but we'll see. Blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Just right on the knife's edge, constantly, with everything. This is it. This is the modern world, where you don't make any more money, just everything costs more, right? You make less money. Less and less and less money. But everything costs more and more and more, and it's called the squeeze. And it's really annoying. It's just this fucking constant hustle. And nature doesn't work like this. Nature just always makes more. The sun comes up in the morning. But this, I don't know, the monetary system on planet Earth, was it really humans that came up with this system? Kind of feels like alien. Like we could have just lived in abundance. We could have decided that we wanted to live in abundance. The choice was there, very clearly. Vegetables are going to grow. Animals are going to continue making nourishing milks. The water is going to continue to run down the mountains. But no. Let's get into a barter system and live in this world of not having enough. Always running out. We're always going to run out. Money? Oh, yeah, you run out of that. Scarcity. It's a good model to base all of society on, just scarcity. But whatever. Going home. Do what I do. I have some money in my Venmo account. I just need to move it over. But then, they charge you to do it immediately. I want to do it immediately, but no, I'm going to do 1 to 3 business days. Who knows how long it'll take. And then I'll go get my food, right? And probably pull on a sleeve or two. Hey, is that job coming through yet? Hey, maybe we should start that job a little sooner. I actually do have a potential gig coming up. Blah, blah, blah. This is boring. Let's not talk about this. Let's talk about sculpting in the 4th dimension. Liminal spaces. Liminal, I think, means in between 2 states, right? In between life and death, maybe liminal, like the coma state, the steam state of water, like, or what are the fourth state of water, which is like the fourth dimension. I consider stop motion sort of sculpting in the fourth dimension, because I feel like it's the three dimensions of space, three-dimensional object, I should say, the objective reality we live in. And then the fourth dimension of time. So we're sculpting in time. And it's like time sculpting. And we're not sculpting like, traditional sculptures are cool, but unless they're, kinetic sculptures, they're just frozen there, right? Whether it's a found art sculpture, or marble, or clay, or whatever. Maybe it's figurative, maybe it isn't, whatever. It's a sculpture. It's maybe it's a figure in a pose, right? But that's just one pose. It's just one pose. But the stop mo is a stack of poses. That's what you're really sculpting, is the gesture. The sculpture in time. And so when you add the dimension of time, it becomes a more kinetic experience, a more gestural or dynamic experience. And you're still thinking about composition, you're still thinking about a nice silhouette, you're still thinking about getting everything to read, but now you're thinking about movement, gesture, and dynamicism. And it feels like a liminal space, because you're physically creating life one photograph at a time in the stop motion world. And creating life has a strange kind of responsibility to it. It's a exercise in manifestation. I think if we were super advanced beings, we would be manifesting immediately the world around us. But it feels like there's a delay here on planet Earth in this third dimensional construct that we live in. And so stop motion feels like a training ground, almost like you're a Padawan learner learning the Force. You don't want to learn it all at once, immediately. You can't just be like thrust into the fourth dimension, because I think it would fuck your brain up. Because you would have all of these unfocused, untethered, incoherent thoughts streaming through your mind, and all of a sudden they would be manifesting themselves immediately. You gotta train, you have to learn how to control and focus your attention. And that's what stop motion. I think stop motion the reason I do it is it's a training ground for the next evolutionary phase, right? If we're going to graduate from this realm, then we need to learn some skills, right? So meditation, animation, all the Asians, is kind of a valid space to learn manifestation. Because in stop motion, you're manifesting thought forms. You have this performance in your mind's eye, and you break it down on your X sheets, you figure out your timings, you make thumbnail sketches for the poses you're shooting for, You shoot a pop through, which gives you sort of like a map to the performance, and then you're meeting this thought form in the physical realm, and it's through sustained focus and attention to detail and the manipulation of these inanimate objects that you achieve what it is that is in your mind's eye. And that liminal space is fully activated. You know, when you close the curtain on your stage and you're working there with a puppet, you're going deep into this private liminal space. You know, and when you emerge, you know, you take a little break and you emerge from the curtain, it's like you're going back out into real-time world, interacting with other animated beings, other intelligences, other creatures. Yeah, I think it's a special craft that has a lot of hidden value. You know, how do you deal with when things aren't exactly going your way? How do you go with that flow? Yeah. Sketchy little thoughts, blah, blah, blah.